When Mum died at John Flynn Hospital, I was quite surprised that John Hembrow didn't turn up at a very vital time. She died with myself and John Eckert in the room, Dr. John Eckert. And I watched her fade away to heaven, the most beautiful lady. The last thing she said to me before she died was, I'm ready to die, Mark. And I said, well, I'm not ready for you to die, but that's what happened. And then after that, I went back to her house, which was Dad and Mum's dream house. And what it arranged, the arrangement was then was that because Mum and Dad had helped John and Judy build Rayjon properties and invested in the early days, and they were very well. Dad was going to build a writing business with me before he died, and that was one of the last things he said to me. Then he died, and then Mum was interested, and I followed through with things, including the show with Hans de Veers. She'd read it and watched me grow with it all, and great supporter. And what the deal was with their stuff in their life, only John and I, that when she died, that I'd be left the house. As in opposed to weighing up to the difference of them backing their multi-million-dollar business, and they didn't get a chance to set me up in that sense. Not that it mattered at all, they were just the most fabulous people. And it was sad to watch her go. And I went back to the house and sat down up there afterwards, and again, I hadn't seen much of John, and he wasn't there when she died. And I was just on my own. Just sat down up on the top little unit up there, and thought, well, there you go. You know, Sally, you know, her last wishes were to me to take over that house and also build a business, a film business, and to get the movie up, The Real World. And that was really what we talked about during that time. Then what happened was that she passed. I saw John the next day, I think. The next day or straight, it was the next day. I didn't see him that day. And the first thing he said for me is, he said, you're going to have to sell the house now. You can't afford to live in there. It was just horrific. You can't, like, before she died, he whinged about her day in, day out. Judy whinged about her. The only reason I wouldn't have got stuck into Judy was because Mum always said, look, John married her, and therefore you be nice to her. But I just watched him go weird. Anyway, it was terribly sad. It was a very lonely affair. It wasn't like two brothers coming together apart from the half an hour on the funeral. And even then that wasn't followed through because we still didn't get the gravestone done. You know, he went and screwed me over and did all this stuff, and we never got to do it. And then anyway, that's part of the backstory of, which is only a very, very small part. If this saga and the exercise of Christian Conciliation went into a documentary, and then when the documentary went into a film, that would be in-depthly shown. The 10 years before, I'd start the story actually in a beautiful situation before Dad died, and during Man from Snow River 2, and he came down to the high country, and they were so proud. I was just so proud of them that I could, you know, I was becoming successful in a very difficult business, and he was treated like gold. All the cast and crew and the big movie people took Dad under the arm, and then, of course, it was 10 years later that my mother was down there without Dad, seeing all my film associates. So, Mum and Dad. And I wish to get their grave settled and their ashes in peace, and let's say prayer that is a honourable, respectful memory of them set up for my for my grandchildren and for my children, and I would have thought for John, but that's not the case. He doesn't care less, it seems, at all. And of course, we've got half of Mum. Well, that's probably because, John had this big blue, and when he got busted, having an affair, and this was going on and that was going on, and then we fought him, like as in just the principle to stand up for what was going on. He dumped the ashes on my doorstep. 3 girls and I were living in Currumbin Valley, and that's what he decided to do. Where he knew, Mum had said, well, I want you 2 boys to go and put my ashes where your father's is. Both, you go together. And of course, the first thing he did was dump the ashes on my, and as I found out, he said, well, I've only put half of them there because I went off and did my own thing with my boys. Totally disrespecting. So this comment's really about the disrespect for my mother and father in all arenas, for when they help them, for their love, absolutely just disgraceful, absolutely horrific, But anyway, life goes on.